The year is 1861. The United States, a young nation built on ideals of liberty and equality, finds itself on the brink of collapse. The issue of slavery had finally reached a boiling point. Southern states viewed the election of Abraham Lincoln as an existential threat. Fearing the loss of their way of life, they took drastic measures. 11 Southern states declared their secession from the United States. They formed the Confederate States of America. Jefferson Davis was elected as its president. Thus began the Civil War, a dark chapter in American history. The Confederacy, though smaller in size and industrial capacity, possessed distinct advantages early in the war. Their soldiers, skilled with firearms, proved formidable. They benefited from fighting on familiar terrain. The First Battle of Bull Run in July 1861 ended in a Confederate victory. This triumph shocked the North, shattering illusions of a quick Union victory. Generals like Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson emerged as brilliant strategists. The year 1863 marked a turning point in the Civil War. The Union, having learned from its early defeats, began to mobilize its vast resources and manpower. President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, issued on January 1, 1863, declared slaves in Confederate-held territory to be free. This landmark decree reframed the war as a fight not just to preserve the Union, but also to abolish slavery. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought in July 1863, proved to be a pivotal moment in the war. This three-day engagement, the bloodiest in American history, resulted in a decisive Union victory, halting Lee's invasion of the North. Gettysburg marked the beginning of the Confederacy's decline, a turning point from which it would never fully recover. In the Western Theater, Union forces under General Ulysses S. Grant achieved a series of crucial victories, gaining control of the Mississippi River and splitting the Confederacy in two. The Union blockade of Southern ports, increasingly effective as the war progressed, crippled the Confederacy's economy and war effort. Section 4. A War of Attrition. The Confederacy's resources dwindle. As the war dragged on, the Confederacy's initial advantages began to dissipate. The Union's superior industrial capacity and larger population allowed it to raise and equip armies far larger than anything the Confederacy could muster. The South's economy, heavily reliant on agriculture and slave labor, struggled to sustain the demands of a prolonged war. The Confederacy's manpower pool dwindled as casualties mounted and desertions increased. Food shortages became widespread, leading to discontent and unrest among the civilian population. The Union's relentless advances and the increasingly desperate situation at home sapped the morale of the Confederate Army and its citizens. Section 5. The South defeated. The Confederacy crumbles. By 1865, the Confederacy was on the verge of collapse. Grant's relentless campaign in Virginia had worn down Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, while Union forces under General William T. Sherman cut a swath of destruction through Georgia and South Carolina, further demoralizing the South. On April 9, 1865, at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, Robert E. Lee surrendered his army to Ulysses S. Grant, effectively ending the Civil War. The Confederacy, starved of resources, manpower, and hope, ceased to exist. The dream of an independent Southern nation lay in ruins. Section 6. Legacy of the Lost Cause. The Confederacy's enduring impact. The defeat of the Confederacy marked a turning point in American history. Slavery, the institution that had divided the nation and fueled the war, was abolished. The Union was preserved, and the United States emerged from the conflict a more unified but deeply scarred nation. The legacy of the Confederacy, however, continues to be a source of debate and controversy. For some, the Confederacy represents a tragic lost cause, a valiant struggle for states' rights and independence. For others, it is a symbol of racism and oppression, a reminder of the nation's long struggle with the legacy of slavery. The Civil War and the Confederacy's defeat had a profound and lasting impact on the United States. It led to the abolition of slavery, the expansion of federal power, and the question of civil rights for African Americans, issues that would continue to shape the nation's destiny for generations to come.